Warhammer number 6. The rule book that is THICC thick, and as if that's not enough, we're going to add to it with the warband scenario, little free supplement. Got Biscotti over here chirping away. It's not your Xbox. These are the Bromans from the city of Brome. They're built on the Imperial Army list. We've got a captain on a horse with barding. He's got the great weapon. When he doesn't charge, he strikes last. We do have a level 2 battle wizard, and in my last video, I had him rolling way too many dice. We'll fix that this time. And he was picking and choosing spells willy-nilly. You can't do that. You got to roll. He is obviously from the lore of light, and with a result of a 2, he's going to have the Burning Gaze spell. He only needs a 5 up to get that spell off. It does D6 strength 4 hits, and it's got a range of 12 inches. I'm using 15mm figures, largely from Coruscant Miniatures, although this guy comes from Raupartha, Europe, part of the old Demon World line, as does our champion over here on the Great Swordsman. We got 10 of those. They've got, oh, they don't have a champion. The only unit that's got the champion is these guys right over here. I got a unit of 20 spearmen. They are on a Sabbat base, and this guy here with the sword, he's the champion. We got a standard bearer, so we're doing pretty cool, pretty chill. They've got spears, light armor, shield. And then the last unit for these guys, of course, will be our archers over here. We've got 12 bowmen, so they got a range of 15 inches, strike 3 hits, light armor. What about our great swordsmen? They have light armor as well. I know it looks pretty heavy here. These are a mix. Some of these guys are, I think, some of these guys are Coruscant, like this guy right here with little horns on his helmet. He's from the old Demon World line as well. Let's take a look at the rats now. I've got a chief and a priest. That's a total of 180 points locked up in our leaders. Obviously, the chief has the 2 swords. The priest has the crook, the rat shepherd crook. That's a lot of points for the warband. They generally want you to limit it to like 120. Both of my units here are a little heavy on the personalities. What are you going to do? Kind of is this a hammer and anvil? A little different force where the Broman force has a good Swiss Army knife. They got some heavy hitters, they've got their spears, and they've got some bows. The rat guys really only have 2 units. They've got 2 rat swarms here. These come to us from Splintered Light. All of these figures are Splintered Light figures. And then in addition to that rat swarm, now it's only 3 bases. Each of those bases has 5 wounds, so they're pretty rough, man. They're gonna, and what do they got? They move 6. They're also pretty quick, and these guys have a leadership of 10. Now the ratlings are not great on the leadership. This is the only other unit, so we have 2 units. These both count as core units, so we did try to honor that for both of these forces. The clan rats here. This is 1 unit of 24 clan rats. And they're not great. Their leadership is only 5. But, so we really want to take advantage of the rank bonus. The rats, for every full rank that they've got behind them, their leadership goes up by 1. So if we have them going like 4 by 6 deep, then we get them up to a leadership of 10. That'll give them a lot more staying power. The priest for the rats, Mr. Rat Priest, is also a level 2 wizard. He gets a spell, and that spell is going to be number 4, Lore of the Beasts. Kronos the Crow's Feast is a magic missile with a range of up to 24 inches. You need a 7-up to hit on it, and it does 2d6 strength 3 hits. We have a pretty wide open table today. I don't know exactly what the results of that are going to be because I don't know where our guys are deploying. The stream costs half movement anytime anybody in your unit is moving through the stream, unless anybody in your unit is touching the ford, in which case, ignore the stream. The swamp over here is uncrossable to everyone, but it does not block line of sight. The little thicket of woods here blocks line of sight. And then over here, we've got the pumpkin patch, which is rough ground, does not block line of sight. Neither does the garden. And of course, the building over there is unpassable. The lovely little road, it just looks nice. We got to figure out which way is north, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4 to figure out which way is north. We re-roll 5s and 6s. So north is at the top. That's easy. Now we're going to roll the die one more time to find out what our deployment zones look like, and I'll show you. So on a 3, it should be pretty boring. This is the warband sheet, and we'll zoom in. Don't worry about the... I'm not going to do the whole video as that swoopy motion sickness thing, but I did want to show you that we are going to go with just a straight, fairly boring A and B One side is going to set up on the south, one is going to set up on the north. It looks like, we're supposed to be using, they say, oh, you should use a 4x4 table, which in our case is a 2x2. Ours is really 2 by about 2.5. That's fine. And then if we look here, we're going to have player A and B. But we'll roll off for that. Ultimately, the point is our deployment zones are 6 inches deep. They run the length of the table. I'm going to roll 2 dice. The green is for the rats. The white is for the Bromans. And the Bromans get to pick which side they want to deploy on. Because they've got the archers, I think we want to deploy them first. And the rats drop their wizard safely behind these woods. Then we did the typical back and forth, and what you see is what you get. We've got all of the core melee guys. At one point, the Bromans put their wizard back here, kind of behind the house in the garden, thinking that keeps him safe. He can kind of wander up here and start flinging attacks down into. So the rats here are really in a bad way because we've got 2 flanking missile attacks are going to be dropping in. The good news is we should be able to bring our wizard up and start blasting at the heavy infantry. That's how the rats are hoping it's going to work. Let's find out who gets to take the first activation. It's going to be the rats going first. So here's what it looks like from the rat's perspective. I really like taking shots like this. You see it from the miniature's eye view. You can see, oh, let me just slide over a little bit. You can see everybody on the battlefield. There you go. Here's our rat wizard over there, or rat priest, I guess you could say. Problem with this angle is that you can't see the dice. So we got to come up just a little bit higher. I think this is a little bit better. It is still the rat's turn, so they're going to do everything. And, hey, check it out. To help me remember what everything means, I've got myself a little cheat sheet. Even laminated it and everything. Declare charges. Nobody was within charge range. Or are they? Oh, the movement here is 6. They're a little too far away. The Bromans set up 5 inches back because they expected that. They didn't want to get charged on the first turn. Then we do rally fleeing troops, compulsory moves, none of those, move charges, remaining moves. So we're going to do our movement, and then we do magic. The rats ease up, stopping what they hope is too far away for the Bromans to charge into contact. They'll get them next turn, with the exception of the leader who decided to drift over here, and he's going to run over and chase off the spellcaster, trying to stay close enough that his leadership bonus will help out these rats over there. This becomes the magic phase, and our blaster priest is going to, he is within 12 inches. See, there's 12 inches. He is going to let her rip and take a shot at these great swordsmen here. He needs a 7 or better to get off his spell. And he gets double 6s, meaning the spell cannot be blocked. Automatic success. Remember that he does 2d6 strength 3 hits. So 8 strength 3 hits against those guys. And I'll grab another pair of dice. And we'll roll for those. Let me check the stats on those great swordsmen. The great swords have toughness of 3. Is that right? Yeah, toughness of 3. So it's going to be 4 is the wound. And we get 1, 2, 3 wounds. And then we get to roll for our saves. And with their, I think they're just wearing light armor for the great swordsman. Light armor and a weapon. Yeah, that's going to be it. So we got to roll 3. So just a 6-up save. Look at that, 2 saves. Not bad. So they lose 1 guy. Kablah. We'll just take the guy off the back there. They're down to 9, so they're okay. But, I mean, you know, that ain't nothing. That's okay. Gotta love those double 6s. And I think that's it for magic. We don't have any melee. We don't have any morale. So play kicks over to the Bromans. And I think this might have been a mistake because we can go full leader on leader. Do we want to do that, though? Do we want to leave Captain Hopper exposed to a charge by these rats? This was a much more clever move than I anticipated at the time that I did it. I'm kind of impressed with myself because even if the king can reach him, I don't think he wants to. And it worked. Our wizard is not going to stand there and take that. He's going to drift away to the side. We're going to play it a little bit safe. He had to move a full 8 inches to get near the pumpkin patch, which precludes him from casting any spells. Our archers have moved up, which means they will be shooting at a -1 when we get to that phase. Everybody else just kind of drifted up, by about like 3 inches. We know we're going to get charged, but we want to leave ourselves as much room as possible, while still, I guess we could probably bring these guys up to about there. That would be about 4 inches. I can measure. They'll be 10 inches from the border. I moved them up too far. There we go. That puts them at about 10 inches. And what that does is it buys them a lot of room, at least one more turn that if they do get routed by this big unit, a low roll keeps them on the table and might just keep them in the fight. But we'll bring our leader back there like so. So that's going to be it for movement. Now we do have 10 archers, and you can see how they're all lined up. The archers have a range of 15 inches. So if you look, that's 12 inches right there, and we can basically hit everybody. We're going to target this rat swarm. The archers have a ballistic skill of 3, so they'll hit on 4s. They are firing at long range, hitting on 5s, and they moved, they're hitting on 6s. So if we can get 2 hits, then we'll be glad. Looking for a pair of 6s, and we get nothing. So that may be a problem. That's an awful lot of points to leave them just standing there doing a whole lot of nothing. And I really think that's going to be the end of the turn for us. We don't have any magic. We did our missile. We don't have any morale. So of all of our M's, I think we're all done. That's going to be the end of turn. Now nobody's in close combat. So now we move on to turn number 2. And I think it's pretty obvious. We're going to declare a charge here and here. And then I'll bring this guy over too. First you declare charges. And then, I gotta do this in order. I gotta check. Nobody is fleeing, so we don't have any rally fleeing troops. Then we move our charges, then we do our remaining moves. So we'll just bring these guys up into play. Now for the Sabbat bases, the spacing is a little bit wonky because my Sabbats are a little too thick for my round bases. It's all right. It's not the end of the world. Our rats are going to charge. We're going to see what happens when rats charge great swordsmen. Now, the great swordsmen, they're going to attack last, even on their turn now, because they have been charged. And then what other movement do we want to do? Our leader here can move a total of 10 inches. Wait a minute. Did I goof this up? If they charge, they've got a movement of 5. You double that, but that just means, I haven't been cutting this in half. You silly Billy. I think the results are ultimately the same. If we bring these guys up the full 5 inches last turn, and these guys up the 2 inches, our wizard here is going to have to stop back there, and our leader here can only move 5 inches. So he actually sprinted 10 inches last time, which was way too far. He would have been up front like this. How do we resolve that? I think we just leave it as is. We'll bring him back there, and that way, he had a little bit of fun chasing off the wizard. And we may have taken this wizard out of the fight, which might not be fair, but I'm just go with it, guys. Just forget it. We caught it in time, and I guess it's not really the end of the world. It does leave our leader with a choice of who he's going to be barging into next turn. We could bring our wizard up, and he could take a shot at these bowmen this turn. Do you think that'd be fun? Try and drive them off? Yeah, let's do that. Let's move him up the 2.5 inches to here. Now he's got a line of sight, and we can do some magic, which is always fun. He needs to roll a 7 or better. And, oops, sorry there, guy. He rolls a 12, so he's okay. Can we dispel that 12? We got 3 dice on the other side, and we automatically dispel it, so that may have been a mistake. You don't need line of sight to dispel, I don't believe, but we are on to melee. We'll start with the rats. The rats get 5 attacks. It's going to be 15 attacks looking for 4s to hit. They're going to be doing strength 2 hits, so not the toughest guys. And I'm going to drop, I've randomized them, and I'm just going to drop them close so you can kind of see what they are, okay? This was a 2 over here. We'll pull out all of them. Everything that's not at least a 4 comes out. This is going to be strength 2 versus a toughness 3. We are only going to be wounding on 5s, but we have a lot of chances to roll those 5s. And we are successful on a total of 3. So I'm going to pull off I'm going to knock over 3 of the guys in the back rank. Everybody else steps up. There are only 5 guys in the front rank. So for the counterattack, these great swords only get to roll 5 dice. They will be hitting on 4s. They get a total of 2 hits. I'll roll some blue dice for this. Let's see if they wound. Now, because they have great swords, their strength is 5. And when you've got a strength of 5 versus a toughness of... How tough are these rats? They're only toughness 2. Strength 5, toughness 2, 5, 2. They're going to be wounding on 2s. Oh, you know what I forgot, though? All right, so that's 2 wounds to the rats. There's 3 guys that get an armor save, and they're only wearing light armor. These are supposed to be those guys with the big flamberges, the great big honking curvy swords. Saving on 6s, so this one pops back up and says, I ain't dead yet, mum. Man, that would be a good name for miniature wargame rule set, wouldn't it? Moving back to the counterattack, we've got 2 hits on the rats, and the rats, do they have any kind of a save? They're unbreakable. So let me drop 2 wound markers down to show that these guys, remember, they've got a total of 15 wounds. We've only done 2 so far. That's kind of impressive. They're doing good. Now let's talk about who won that combat. It's 2 to 2 versus 1 rank versus 1 rank. I don't understand what happens here. We have 2 wounds to 2 wounds, which means the fight is a tie, except that the Bromans outnumber, base-wise, the rats. So do the Bromans get +1 because they've got 7 models left to just 3? But these are classed as, what, monsters? Because they're giant rats? So they're actually classed as 15 strength? So technically they outnumber. I don't know what to do here. So what I'm going to do is punt. I'm going to, actually, let's give it to the giant rats. They're going to be with a strength of 15 each time. So they outnumber the guys with a strength of just 7. That means that our guys with a strength of 7 have to make their leadership check at -2. The good news is the captain is standing there, so they can use his leadership, but that means they still need to stay with a 6 or lower. So with a 7, they have failed their break test. Normally it's 8, -2 because they lost the guys. They have to flee. They're going to roll 2d6, and they're going to flee a total of 6 inches, or 3 in our case. The rats now have to decide, oh, I forgot. The rats have to announce before the roll. Well, they're going to pursue. So if they can roll higher than a 6, and they equal, so I think that means that the giant rats will pursue 3 inches and destroy this unit. Kablow. But we have to move them 3 inches this way. It's 6, but, you know, again, we're at half size. Like so, and that could be a problem for the Bromans. We have another melee over here, and we've got 10 guys fighting 10 guys. The guys that charge, right, our rats here, do have, they're both carrying spears. At least I think so. Those clan rats are carrying, yep, light armor spears. So we're going to have to roll 10 dice for them. And we'll roll the red for the clan rats. They attack first. And let me roll the dice first, and then we'll take a look at our skills. The clan rats have a weapon skill of 3. The spearmen have a weapon skill of 3. They're going to be hitting on 4s. No big surprises there. They get a total of 7 hits. 2, 4, 6, 7. Yep. And they're going to be wounding on 4s. They have a strength of 3 versus a toughness of 3. So we roll looking for 4s, pulling out these. They get a total of 3 hits. All of those dice. And then our spear guys they do have light armor and a shield, so they'll save on 5s, and they don't get any, so that's 3 wounds to the spear guys. But the spear guys now get to counter, and they're in a little better position, actually, because I don't think the clan rats have a shield. They do not. So once again, we're rolling 10d6, looking for 4s, and you're going to have to do better than that, fellas. 3 hits altogether. Wounding on 4s. They at least pull 2 wounds out of their hat, and then saving on 6s, no saves. So the rats lose 2 guys. 2 rats go down, and then we tally up the results. We've got a total of 3 hits for the rats. We have a total of 1, 2, 3 additional ranks for the rats, putting them at a score of 5. They outnumber the enemy. They are at a score of 6. The Bromans over here, and you know what I forgot? One of these guys actually hits on a better. We've got a champion in there. He gets an extra attack. Let's see if he can pull it out. That champion is going to roll a 3. Does the champion... So that's a miss. So it's still going to be a tally of 3, 4, 5. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So 1, 2, 3 for the rank bonus. 4, 5, 6 for the rats. The Bromans have a score of 2 for the kills. 3, 4, 5 for the banner. And they're going to lose by 1. Meaning the Bromans have to make a leadership check at -1. With a result of a 7, they will pass. And that will be the end of... Is that the end of the turn? Yeah, we'll police things up. And that is the end. Well, it's not the end of the turn. That's the end of the rat guy's turn. That puts us at the bottom of the second inning. Our leader is going to declare a charge on the spellcaster over here. That's the only charge we've got. Then we do our, and we'll just complete it because we know it's going to be successful. He's not too far away. What is our result going to be? Actually, our wizard's going to run away. That's going to be his result. This wizard is going to race over here. Well, if you know, he's only going to move 2 inches up. He's going to get a little bit closer, but by walking 2 inches, he is going to be able to blast these guys. He's running away, directly away from the big guy with the great big honking weapon. That means he's going to run 2d6 inches away. He's only going to get an additional 3 inches away, and he'll have to move back to here. I know you can't see it. Don't worry about it. Then our King Hopper here, what is his movement? He is on a war horse after all. So he's going to be able to move a total of 8 inches. Did our rat guy get away? Well, if I put the 8 directly on him, he does not. He still gets hit. Now we do magic. Our wizard is within 12 inches of these rats. He's going to roll 3d6. We're just looking for a 5. And he gets it. So he will do with his little light of a comma or whatever it was, with a range of 12 inches, d6 strength 4 hits. So 3 strength 4 hits against rats who have a toughness of just 2. So strength 4 versus toughness 2. We're going to be wounding on 2, so that's 3 more wounds. With no saves, we will pull off this guy right there. That does not do 25. Well, let's see. 3 hits out of the 12. No, out of the 13 does not do the 25%. Now our archers get a turn. And we're going to roll 10 dice for those guys. They did not move. They are firing at, well, if they're within 6 inches, are they firing at close range? They're going to be a total of, there's your 6 inches right there. We're just outside of the short range. So they're going to be hitting on 5s. 10 of them, all in a line, are going to get a total of 3 hits. Right, and then that's going to be strength 3 versus toughness 2 will give us a wounding on 3s. And at least they score 3 big hits out of that, which is 33%. Do those rats have to make a morale check? They do not. They're unbreakable, but they're down to just half of their original numbers. So that's going pretty well for them, but we have to do our melee now. Let's do the melee over here. We're going to roll 10 dice for the spearmen, hitting on 4s. And this is a pretty generic fight here because it's just going to be looking for 4s pretty much across the board. We get 6 hits right out of the gate, looking for 4s to wound. We get 4 wounds altogether. Saving on 6s means the rats are going to lose 1 of their rank bonuses. 1, 2, 3. Actually, they're going to lose 2 of them. They're going to be down to just a rank bonus of 3. So there's their 4 casualties. But they do get to retaliate. And they are again hitting on 4s. Not quite as good a roll for them. 5 hits altogether. Wounding on 4s. They're going to get 3 big hits. And now we're saving on 5s. We got 1 save. So only 2 of the spearmen go down. And this time we'll count. The spearmen have a total score of 4. Plus the banner is 5. 6, 7 for the spearmen. The rats are going to have a total score of 2 plus 1, 2 ranks for 4. So 7 of 4. The rats are going to be at -3. The good news for the rats is that their leader is standing right here behind them. Go get him, boys. And he's got a leadership of 6. They have a bonus of 1, 2 for the ranks, making the leadership 8. But they're still going to be at a total of -3. So rolling, trying to get, well, or another way to look at it is you have to roll a 5 or better. With Snake Eyes, they're going to live to fight another day. I wonder, am I missing something on these clan rats here? I feel like there may be another ability they've got that I'm ignoring. Light armor and a spear. It doesn't look like it. Clean up some casualties here, and then we get to do one of the boss fights. In point of fact, Hopper overruns and kills the wizard. Now he has to decide whether he wants to make an overrun attack, and he does. This is the edge of the table. We do not want to get charged by this guy. He looks like he's within 5 inches. So we're going to ride forward to get out of the way, and then we're going to swing around and try to charge back into him. Hoping for a low roll here. We get 9 inches altogether, which if we cut it in half, brings us down to just 4.5 inches. And because this is a character model, we can swing him around like so. 3d6 because he's cavalry. That will be the end of the turn number 2. And really, I think we should call that turn number 3 because remember we did double speeds on that one turn. So we're going to call this turn number 4. I don't think it's going to matter because this is really shaping up to be a quick fight. And although they won and crushed the great swords, our giant rats are in trouble. We're going to pivot them around. We're actually going to wheel something like this. And because there's so few of them, now they can't charge because they didn't have the arc. We're going to call that a total of 4 inches of movement. And then they can move an additional 3 inches, which will put them just over the ford here. And if they can survive, they may be able to tear up these archers, but they're going to have to eat another round of archery. That's really about the best we can do with those guys. Our boss leader man cannot charge, but we might be able to get away with that next turn. We're going to double move to here. We're going to try to get him. Maybe actually we could double move him up to there. We can't get him to the point that he can flank these guys. Boy, what do we do? I think we need to bring him up like this, because that way he's hiding from the blaster wizard, and he's as far away from Captain Hopper as he can get. That's it for movement. Now we've got our fight in the center, where once again we're going to have a total of 10 clan rats versus 10 spear guys. The numbers are dwindling down. The clan rats are going to hit a total of 4 times. Just looking for 4s. They're going to wound a total of no times. Ooh, that's not good. This may be the game right here. Then the spear Bromans are going to fight back. They only miss twice. They get a total of 8 hits. Ooh, that's ugly. 8 hits. Let's see how streaky they are. They're only going to get a total of 5 hits altogether. That is, or 5 wounds, and then the clan rats are going to make a single success. They're going to lose 4 more guys. They do maintain their rank, but with a score of 4-0, they've only got 2 ranks. This is going to be a total of, so for their success, they get the rank bonus of 2, plus the banner is 3, and once again, I forgot to roll the extra attack for the captain. A 6 is a hit, a 3 is a fail to wound. The captain, the champion here, does get to roll 1 extra die. So it should be 11 dice for the Bromans, but it didn't matter because he missed with his second attack. Anyway, the point is it's going to be a total score of 7-1 altogether. Wow, that's embarrassing. We'll roll for the clan rats, and they are going to get a total of 9. It's a roll under. They've failed. We are absolutely going to pursue. So the clan rats are going to run 6 inches away. Right, 12 divided by 6. And our spear guys are only going to pursue 3.5. That makes it the Bromans' turn. We are going to move. We're going to declare a charge here. We don't have any fleeing troops to rally. We'll bring our boss man. He's got a movement of 7 inches. If we bring him up on the double to there, you know, we might have been able to charge and hit these guys in the flank, but we want to keep him out of the way. Then our wizard is going to move up 2 inches to here. And I think that's it from... Oh, no, then we carry forth our charge. And our charge goes a little something like that. Kabang! And you get the idea, we can pull back a little bit to kind of show that fight a little bit more. But after that, we got to do our magic, and our wizard is going to light up the Rat King. And within a score of 15, he will be successful. He does a total of D6. He does 2 strength, 4 hits. And those are both going to be wounds. Our Rat King is going to make... Oh, let's see. Actually, he's a rat chief, isn't he? He's got heavy armor. But that's it. So he fails both of those. With 2 wounds, he dies. And that may force some psychology checks. But before we get to those, I am going to roll for 10 hits against these rats. And I think this game is over, to be honest with you. We may cut it short just because it's pretty obvious what's about to happen. The archers are going to be hitting on 4s. And they're going to get quite a few hits. With strength 3 versus toughness 2, they're going to be wounding on 3s. They get a total of 5 hits with no saves. We lose a complete one of those. Unbreakable means there are still 3 rats that can make contact next turn. But I don't think it's going to matter because we have 10 hits down here. And this is really going to drive these. Or 11. Hey, look at me. I remembered to roll all 11 dice, hitting on 4s. The rats do not get a counter hit. There's 4 hits altogether. Move them out of the way. Because we've impacted them in the back, we're going to kill 2 of them. And they are going to make saves on 6. They get no saves. We'll pull off 2 more wounds. So this leadership check is going to be at a 5. 6 for the extra rank. -2. We need a 2, 3, or 4. They fail. They're going to run. And, of course, we're going to pursue. The rats are going to flee 8 inches away. The humans are going to pursue 8 inches, and that's going to destroy them. And that's really the end of the game. The only thing that the rat guys have left is a couple of what is it? It's not even... Yeah, it's just a pair of giant rats versus all of this. This is over. We're calling it quits. Although, to be honest with you, I think because of that, the advantage that the rats have is their speed. We gave them extra speed... And it really didn't help him at all, did it? I think the big thing is that's just not a very strong army list. When you've got one giant unit that's just drawing all of the aggro, they're going to get blitzed. And these rats, I'm wondering if they're not a little underpriced, or overpriced, I should say. 150 points, strength 2. I know there's a lot of them, but man, I don't know. I got to think about it. I have to play that. I'd have to play with these rats a few more times to get a real good handle on it. I think we're getting a much better handle on the rules, but as always, there's room to improve, and I would be much obliged to you guys if you would teach this Warhammer neophyte the Zen master ways of wargaming. Even though he's doing it a little bit weird with the 15mm figures, hey, it's still the same game. It's still just as fun, and I think it looks great on the camera. If you don't, well, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, no, I do know what to tell you. Even if you don't, whether you do or you don't,